Good morning, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Athena project brought to you by 1.League and Jess Goat. My name is Grace, and I am joined here by the wonderful Novi Kane. I thought, in the spirit of things, Athena being the goddess of war, I would put on my 8th to 10th century Viking helmet, as you do. We are about to get stuck into the action between 6IXNATIONHQ and Sparkle Team. I think this is a matchup we are all very, very excited for, aren't we, Novi?
Sorry. I'll stop. No, I'm not. It's the fact that so in the break I'd run to the toilet, got myself a drink, come back. I didn't have time to look at what Grace had put on her head, so I just saw it come in as you all did at home.
Standard behavior.
I mean, I don't know why I'm laughing. I shouldn't be surprised at this point. Grace always, first Snorrigon and now this. She just sort of roll with it. Anyway, as you said, exciting games. All four that we've had, or we will have by the end of the day today, will be good games. But going into it, this was the one which was hardest to call. And actually, the online poll on Twitter also showed that I think 6IXNATIONHQ had the slight advantage, but the percentages were very, very close. I actually put my money, or say money, my Twitter reputation, which is absolute garbage, on Sparkle Team. Actually, I think that this team has legs to them. They showed a really good performance, but 6IXNATIONHQ, they're a good team. This is for me was the one game. If anyone could tune into just one game, this is the one you want to watch.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that 100%. I think this is literally a case of Death Stack versus Death Stack again, and very exciting stuff. Again, 6IXNATIONHQ, an absolutely stacked roster. We've seen a lot of these players have been playing for a very, very long time. Same with Sparkle Team, to be honest. And at the same time, they've both got very, very obvious play styles to me at this point as well. I think that we're going to see some nice adaptations coming through from 6Nation. I think they're very, very good with their adaptability. I think Sparkle Team, if they get aggressive, that certainly benefits them as well. But let's see where they're going to go, Novi. Let's have a look at these map bans and picks, please.
Ooh. Cafe, Club, Coast, Villa, Bank. Yes!
Ooh.
Yes!
We're going to a cheeky bit of Chalet. We do love to see that. Again, I think we're both very happy with that. I think we're very, very happy with that indeed. This is going to be an interesting one. Obviously, Chalet, similar to Coastline, it's more of an attacker-sided map, to be honest, over the rest of the maps, which are usually defender-sided. A lot to be done here. My headphones are falling off. But I think this is going to be an interesting one, especially when we regard these two teams and the kind of play styles they do. I'm really curious to see how 6 decide to adapt to the fact that they're choosing to go. Well, they haven't chosen to go to Chalet. They are going to be forced to go to Chalet by Sparkle Team here.
Yeah, I'm curious if Sparkle Team has something, cocked up, like behind the scenes, ready to go, ready to fire off. They looked very, very good on... I think it was Bank. Yeah, it was Bank Delta Project. So they're used to going off-piste, so to say, and we're taking that trip into the mountains. And I'm happy with my prediction. I think they're going to be skiing away a little bit to a victory on Chalet. I think it's a map that really suits, like you said, it suits both these team styles. But the firepower that Sparkle Team showed. Attacker, if they get attack excited, which they do, they can kind of push their advantage a little bit. They've got that capability. I think we could well see that. However, I'm always going to caveat that 6IXNATIONHQ are a very, very competent, incredibly competent side. They know what they're doing. Like you said, the adaptability on the fly is probably they showed the most adaptability of any team last week. I think Delta Project matched that this week. Question is can they carry that trend on? Can they push it even further? I'm wondering also with the bans, are they going to ban out any attacking operators that they might find troublesome or defense? Are they going to get rid of someone strong, or are they going to go for a weaker ban? I think that's a weaker ban. There's plenty of more powerful attacking operators available. Sparkle Team are looking to try and get as many attacking rounds as possible.
100%. Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think that they've kept that Mav as an example on the board completely to benefit them going into this. The Kaid, obviously that ban's going to benefit them again. They're really focusing on the fact that they're going into this 6 rounds on the attack. I think they're feeling confident, to be honest, Novi. I think they feel like, yeah, we can take those 6 rounds in a row. Yeah, I think that's very evident from these bans. Absolutely. 6IXNATION are going a bit more standard with their bans, and there we go, even more standard, going with the classic mirror. I think across every single league she has like a 98% ban rate, if not 99%, to be honest, in some leagues, or 100% in some leagues. Again, I think that Six are playing this way more standard. Sparkle team have gone completely and put their chips on the table and gone, nah, we reckon we could get 6 in a row. Let's see how we get on with this.
Now, where are we going for the first one? Kitchen dining. It's making a reoccurrence for this time on Chalet. All right. Okay, interesting. I feel like on this map, there's every site is viable to a certain degree. It has its strengths, it has its weaknesses. My favorite is, of course, is Bar. Absolutely love that site. I think it's so exciting to watch. But I'm interested to see what these teams bring to the table for our first round. Map 3. I say map 3. Game 3 of our second Playday. Both these teams looking for that top spot. And certainly the fact that Frenemy only got an overtime win, so they get less points. It's starting to look like there's an opportunity to take it between these two teams. There's one of these teams will come away with that and be the sole leader at the top of the leaderboard by the end of today.
100%. I mean, it's so far looking like a pretty standard setup, though. We are seeing that nice. I love this shield on piano. It's becoming such a nice standard positioning for utility right now. Lee's already fair enough, getting ballsy with it there, going for a cheeky little spawn peek.
And there's no reply. There's no answer. I mean, what can you answer to that when it comes out so out of left field, and just like that? 6. I mean, we said that, I think last week, that most teams, they aren't really going to go for spawn peaks or maybe runouts. As we get further down the line in the tournament, they're going to get more and more confident with it. We're starting to see it now. Spawn peaks was something we didn't see much of at all last week. What a statement made by Lisa straight away. Minutes gone down. But Sparkle team, they still have the Yana, they have the Twitch, they have the Thermite. There's still a lot of tools available to them.
Absolutely. And again, I really like the utility placements again with that little... Again, a lot of people are using the bulletproofs in those kind of positions to get that nice little line of sight there. Half the round gone though, Novi. Half the round gone. And not a round really taken too much, to be honest. They still have to deal with these operators upstairs. They have to make some kind of push towards the downstairs as well. AJ getting the pick onto Hestia as well. At this point, would it be better for them all to kind of maybe go for a direct pinch and push, or do you think they should still clear the top floor? It's hard to make that kind of call. They are going to try and open up this office wall, however, but again, it's that utility being utilized upstairs, and this is the opportunity now for 6 to hold on for a little bit longer, and then they just pull back for the last minute, if they even need to be honest. I think they're in a really strong position upstairs here.
They've got a strong foothold. But it's unclear. I mean, I say it's unclear. They look a little bit... I don't want to say lost. It's like they're all poised, but they're waiting, sort of waiting for the IGL to coordinate them rather than it being intrinsic. It's being very explicit coordination, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It just takes more time to get everybody on the same page. Mia or Maya is close, but not quite. Iruni gets out. And will eventually... Oh, actually, it's the mute which goes down. That's an opening, an option. AJ, our interviewee from last week, is on the flank. He's looking for that W, for that win. Iana just swings around the corner. Shanice is having none of it. Midnight. And of course, Lisa is going to have to hold on right here. Straub is close to the site, close to the angle. The plant's being stuck. Not sitting in the toxic phase, going to deny it. Lisa just takes her Mia before going down. The plant will get stuck, but it's just Shanice left in a 1-on-3. Make that a 1v2, 1v3, 1v none, because a player was downed, and Shanice somehow Sparkle team takes that victory out of a round that 6IXNATIONHQ had all the resources at their disposal to win.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the fact that Sparkle team managed to pull that back in their favor is absolutely phenomenal, and really, really hats off to them, because 6 looked so strong then, genuinely so strong, Novi, and all they had to do was just hold on for a little bit longer, just hold that top floor. Yeah, Sparkle team coming through though, again taking that win on what looked like an almost lost round. Very good going. Really powerful start to this map for them.
Shanice with 4 kills. 4 kills. Incredible stuff. The perks of an Iana. Iana. Yuana. The operator. I mean, it can act as an entry. You know, the gun's good enough. You know, she's pretty quick as well. Also, just quite like, actually, you can see the difference in ethos compared to the teams we saw previously with the sort of operators that they're bringing. I'd say maybe apart from Sledge, but then again, he can deliver a hefty punch. I'd say pretty much all these operators are like what I'd describe as like gunners. They all have good weapons. You know, there's not a single operator where you're going, okay, the gadget's really good, but their gun's maybe not as powerful as others. All 5 of them, great guns on every single one of them. They can take aim duels all day, and they'll be happy with it. And that's quite a daunting prospect for 6.
It's kind of interesting in a way, because yes, they've chosen to go back to the same site, but they were defending it really well until that last part. So maybe this is an opportunity for them to be like, okay, we're not going to do that again. We are going to hold it stronger this time and not make these mistakes. I think it's sometimes very evident that a team are confident in their ability to hold a site and that they feel that they just got caught slightly off guard. But speaking of being caught off guard, AJ is going to fall to Hystia there as the opening pick for this round, applying pressure there now on the piano window. That piano area is now completely undefended pretty much. They don't really have to worry too much about that, anyone being hidden behind that shield utility now, so they can start to make their approach.
Is on that window as well. So the crossfire is being set up. And the rest of it is clear. And there might be one defender still floating about. I think, was that a C4? Felt like it. It's actually Lisa who's on that stairs. He's backed off. The trophy. And he's looking around. That's a classic setup. I think I was speaking to Fresh when I think he said something about how that might have been one of the something about the strategy or something that it was like, this is something that we were one of the first teams to do or something. It was and he said it sort of like pushed the boat out, and now every team does it. Now what we view as standard. Now we're seeing a flurry of kills though. That's less than standard and less than ideal for either of these teams. Sparkle team will come out on top. That Nomad is very low. A whiff of a single bit of smoke is going to shut her down, but that edge have going off is going to give an audio cue over, far louder than any track stingers that a Gridlock might bring to the table. With 25 seconds left, Grace, Sparkle team have got to pull the trigger.
They really do, but it's again who is going to come out on top when they do, because these executes that they seem to go for in the end, they work out well for them, they win their ones. A lot of flash utility coming through. Doesn't seem to impact Straub though, as she can make her way towards the side, but she's going to take down Maya, to be honest, but that diffuser has been taken off, and there we go, Luna is going to fall. Diffuser has been dropped and there's no time. There we go, 6 Nation have managed to secure a defensive round, and things are going to start heating up for sure.
We'll finally be able to see a different site as well. We, of course, had kitchen dining twice in a row. Where do they opt to as their secondary site? It's bar and gaming. So staying on the first floor. See, my personal favorite site in the entire game to watch. No mirror, though. Last time I saw Chalet, mirror was open and played in the stock hallway, corridor, stock, whatever that room people call it as the call out. But with the mirror window on it, you can peek out. You've got the hatch as well. They would leave the hatch open, play top down, and then once they gave up library control, back down and then hide in stock using the mirror window. But no mirror available. So I'll be interested to see how 6 try and essentially play without that operator or play alternatively. They were the ones who banned it. They do have the smoke, which they've used really, really well. They understand how to funnel the attackers into a choke point and then use the smoke to essentially just completely deny any of the plants. The Sparkle team, they know they should identify exactly what Six Nations plan is. They want you to run the clock down. They want you to go slow. Sparkle team just need to get a little bit quicker when they're going through their attacking process.
One thing I will say, it would be quite nice to see the Frost be a 6, because I think at this point a lot of people do expect the Frost mat in the gaming window as an example. But obviously, it is nice to have the smoke and the Frost. You get those shields for the top floor as well, Novi. Really holding that upper lobby area. We've seen it many, many a time. A lot of teams will take double shield up there. You have one the kind of library corridor, and you have one not roughly where Melusi is, but a bit further back towards that staircase on the western side. So a nice little setup you can do there. I love the fact that the Melusi Banshees are coming through around the windows too, because that's really going to put a spanner in the works if they do manage to get any kind of aggression and get those picks to clear anyone that may be playing in the library area as well. So again, a nice kind of, it's an almost defaulty setup, but I do like, I know I'm a little bit biased when I talk about stuff like this, because I really do like it when teams go a bit more default with things. I think sometimes it's like, well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of thing, That way you can really rely on your mechanical ability, and certainly 6 have the mechanical ability to deal with anything, but, as do Sparkle teams, so that's why we're seeing very silent approaches from both teams right now. They just want to have the gunfights, and I'm completely here for it.
Yep. I mean, and we've seen actually in pretty much all our games today, everybody's playing at, I want to say, a higher level than they were last week. Absolute AJ, though, monstrous play, getting 2 kills before there's a reply. Sparkle team manages to salvage the situation a little bit. Absolute AJ manages to back off. But it is 2 for 2. In terms of a trade, Shanice is going to get tagged, knows that someone is upstairs. It is, of course, Absolute AJ playing on those stairs. Going to be a problem, but Shanice completely beams her like a laser beam from that range. AJ will go down, and now 6 Nation are under quite a lot of threat. So early on, they've lost so many players. Yes, Sparkle team is in a similar boat. Now they can just have that time and that luxury to drone through, identify where the defenders are, and they can just dance around them. The question is going to be, where's the Frost? Where is she right now?
This is the thing as well, because it's obviously, you've got one below, one above, and I think that's the best positioning for Clawberry and Midnight to be in right now. The fact that it got to a 3v3 in less than a minute, and then even before it got to the halfway mark, we're in a 3v2 already. That is incredible. That's incredible aggression, really, from both sides, to be honest. More so from Sparkle team for just going absolutely for the jugular. Been like getting caught a bit off guard there by a ton of utility coming through from Sparkle team. Luna taking her down ultimately with the little shotgun, gun rare, sorry. Plan is being stuck, but Clawberry, can't quite do anything. This is going to shut that down before she has a chance to try and clean up that absolute, to be honest, that was pretty chaotic. And I think that it was, again, just a lot of aggression coming through there from Sparkle team that ultimately got them that round in their pocket. which is unusual,
Yeah.
especially as you know, I know it is a little bit more attacker sided, but even then, is as I often say, if you're going to be aggressive, it favors you way more in defense, um, as standard, because again, there's specific steps you have to make as an attacker. But I think maybe they were just like, oh, we know what's going to happen because everyone's playing this so standard that we can kind of just get a little bit jazzy with it and get stuck in, go for the jugular, and it worked really, really well for them. They are choosing to go to the same site again, though. They have 6 this time, though, so I also think that maybe, you know, it's going to prevent Sparkle Team from an immediate reaction, an immediate knowledge of what's going to happen. So I think we may have just lost Novi for a second, so I'm just going to carry on talking. I do think that... there we are, perfect.
I'm back. Never mind. Don't panic, everybody.
So now you're back from outer space. Speaking of outer space, love the fact that they're bringing Ayana again. We have seen, as we were mentioning earlier in the night, we have seen so much Ayana use in these recent days due to these changes to Zofia and Ashe, and absolutely Sparkle Team, they're not really touching the Zofia or Ashe at all. It's very nice to see that they're playing again to that more kind of like T1 to T3 standard. To be honest, Novi, it's really, really positive and promising.
Yep. I love the operator. I think she's fantastic. Just, I don't see much of a reason not to take her in pretty much any scenario. That lineup is just, for the attacker Sparkle Team, it pretty much does everything you want. I'm trying to think if there's anything I might change. Maybe the Twitch could be traded out for something. I feel like the Twitch is a bit of a flex in the role. If you kept all the other 4, you can swap the Twitch out for whatever you need depending on the site. I think for Chalet in general, the Twitch is just very effective. Plus the F2 is just great. You know, you can run around and have a lot of fun with that weapon. It absolutely shreds people. Now, 6 though, we've seen gets, or was very aggressive in the early of the round last, but was also haphazardly approaching it as well, with 2 players going down very early on. I don't think either team is going to give the other one that kind of advantage. So now we've got a lot more standard of, okay, we need to clear up this, then we can get the upstairs control, and then we'll play vertically, a lot more what we would expect. And this honestly favors 6Nation at the moment. They seem to struggle a little bit when Sparkle Team turns on the gas and really just slams their foot down.
Clobry getting the pick onto Shanice though, and again this defense. These are the kind of angles I really like to see on this defense, and it's really working into their favor now. And this is what I was talking about those kind of shield setups and that nice little crossfire you can get. It's just going to try and get a little bit bossy with it though. But Pandy is actually going to take down Clobry, so Histia can now easily jump into that library area. Nearly have entirely. Oh, Lisa though cleaning up a nice little 2k taking out Pandy and Maya, but ultimately shut down by Luna. A 2v2, and Sparkle now have top floor control as well. 6ers once again have to mind their angles. They really have to make sure the same thing doesn't happen as last time. Of course, it is a 2v2 this time, so they do have a nice even operator count. It's not going to be as chaotic, hopefully, as last time, but there's still a lot of pacing and patience that needs to be had.
Oh, Luna. Yes, just about. I was worried that wasn't going to quite connect. But she's going to be wailing underneath, and now Straub. All up to her to try and recover this. Getting shot in the back. The F2 swings. Easter knocks that one out of the park. Nice spray around the corner, the pre-fire. And there we go. Sparkle Team 3-1. I know this is an attacker-sided map, but the fact that these are, in theory, secondary and primary bomb sites, or for at least first and second picks for 6, and they're falling on them, maybe 6IXNATIONHQ is in a little bit of trouble.
I mean, they can pull it to a kind of 3-3 split still. So I wouldn't say it's over just yet, of course. I think that realistically, maybe if it goes like 4-1, that's when I'd get a bit worried. But there's still a lot they can do to secure these sides. And again, I have, all the faith in the world, to be honest, that they can certainly hold this one. I think this is actually one of the nicer sites to defend, in my opinion. Again, probably going to see a very standard setup come through. Going to see that shield on the piano. Going to see the Aruni gate on that double piano door. Going to see some Arunis on that fluke balcony as well. Would be curious as well to see if we're going to get a bulletproof headed towards that library corridor as well. Probably, most likely. Absolutely. But again, a standard setup, and I do think that works, especially with a map like Chalet. Sometimes you do have to go standard just to, in a way you can always bait the attackers into being like, hey, they've gone standard, so we're going to do X, Y, Z, and that's when you get aggressive as the defender. That's when you're like, okay, we know exactly where you're going to come from and what your plan is, so we can just jump out at you.
And I'm curious why a Valk isn't taken in this situation. I think with the way Sparkle Team's been playing, 6IXNATIONHQ would really benefit from the extra information that she brings. I feel like that. And maybe instead of the mute, maybe a Mozzie, just because then if you get a drone, you can then use that for your team. I don't know. I feel like they're just lacking a little bit, especially in the later rounds. That's where they're struggling, because they just don't have the eyes to make, like you said, to make aggressive plays where they can levy a 50-50 gunfight into a 70-30 or along those lines. Oh, Straw gets annihilated. Is just going to step out into the open, gets a second one. Absolute AJ falls, and Sparkle Team comfortably take the lead off of the back of the Ash, just waltzing on in. Lisa, what a headshot, but gets removed by a frag grenade. So can't celebrate for too long, and it's a 2-on-4. Make that a 1-on-4. Jawberry's close to the edge. Disadvantage a little bit more equal, gets 2, so now it's a 1-on-2 with a flash going out. That's going to force Lawberry off the angle, start making her way around. And he finishes Midnight, so no option for a res. Knows by the Banshee wailing that they've probably slipped past. Gets eventually found, and Sparkle Team 4 rounds on attack to 1 on the defensive side for 6. They kind of need to win this next round.
They do. I think this is, I think, again, it is attack-sided a little bit. At the same time, going into this, when we saw those bans, we knew that Sparkle Team was super, super confident in their attacks, based on the fact that their operator bans completely favored the attacking side more. I do feel as well that, if I'm curious to see how 6 pull this back on their own attack. And I'm curious to see whether these bans will kind of bite Sparkle Team a little bit. I'm also curious to see if Sparkle Team will go for, again, that standard approach, or whether they'll mix it up a little bit, get a bit creative. I'm also, again, with how aggressive Sparkle Team have played, will Sparkle Team just be hanging out of the windows till the cows come home, Novi?
I mean, I don't know. This team just gets me, like, I just love the way they play. For me, I love this incredibly aggressive gunning style, but it almost being controlled chaos. They cause weird situations where they might lose a couple, but they'll take someone with them, and then they trust in the fact that the rest of their team is mechanically gifted enough and smart enough to make that situation work and thrive in that environment. 6, which of course is, as we've seen, very adaptable, but feels more structured. A little bit, struggling in comparison under the weight and the momentum that Sparkle Team has. But we're back to that kitchen dining site. Both these teams are 1-for-1 on it. Sparkle Team managed to just clutch it out at the last second. I think it was, I want to say, yeah, it was Shanice who clutched it. But maybe this is 6IXNATION's time to shine. They like letting them come in close through the Banshees, use those as audio cues, and then throw the Toxic Bays out. But that is a brilliant trade kill right there.
Yeah, what a read as well. What an absolute read coming through there. Leads are falling within the first minute, so that drone is going to be taken away as well for the side of 6 Nation, which is going to not pigeonhole them per se, but again, it's going to take away that extra edge that perhaps would have benefited them in this round. They're still holding on to that top floor, though, so there's still a lot of work for Sparkle Team to do. Nearly half the time gone, but we've seen how this goes before.
4 vs 4, half the round remaining. A frag grenade to clear that out. Okay. Sparkle Team certainly want to make it go a little bit quicker. Those ADAs are going to cause problems, and it means that Clawberry just has to try and swing that corner. Me is having absolutely none of it. Next Kairos gets denied. Midnight, though, stepping up to the plate. Absolute AJ again with another kill. Has been amazing for her team. Now Sparkle Team, with a minute left, push onto that back foot, but we've seen Shanice win these type of situations. It's on this exact site as well. Escairo is finally going off, so now there's an opening in. There's a way through, a path forward. That Aruni is still upstairs and can cause problems, though. They've got to watch out for AJ. She has the lineup. They should have the audio keys to know roughly where she is, but she should see them first. Pika's advantage. Actually, no, it's Anchor's advantage. That should reveal a situation. Actually, no, she doesn't shoot at the hologram, so maybe they're going to second guess themselves. Luna had to find that shot. 25 seconds remaining. Shanice is still wondering where to go. They know that the Aruni's above, but they've got to get a shift on. The Toxic Bay going out is going to deny them one avenue. Oh, Shanice, you saw the head of the Jaeger going for the re-engage. Doesn't quite land the shot, and the low ammo count in that weapon prevents her from re-peeking. She has to go for the reloads. Straw will pick up Shanice. Chimes on in. The SMG-11 to the face, and 6 recover in a quite, confident way as they switch the half. A 4-2 scoreline. Sparkle Team, though, are leading the way.
Absolutely, and again, that's ideally you want to be getting as many rounds as possible on that more dominant side. So this is going to be very interesting. As I say, with the aggression Sparkle Team have brought, are we going to see that translated well onto defense? Are they going to be, as I eloquently put it, hanging out the windows? On the side of 6 Nation as well, as we see from the lineup, very standard approach, really. They're taking that bug for the soft destructibility. They're taking the Ash as well, which, yes, there's destructibility there. And I think AJ on the Ash is always a good sign anyway. The Ayana, of course. The hard breach as well of Clawberry on the ace, and also the Flores. So we're going to get a lot of utility destruction there, which is always nice to see as well. Again, like the fact that they're bringing the alibi here, probably most likely for the shield, and again, they're going to try and bait some of these more aggressive players on the side of 6 Nation using those alibi clones as well. So that's going to be another lovely addition.
Yeah, I think the novelty is worn off the pog mats. In Frost, and Alibi is a perfect substitution. Better weapon. Also brings that secondary shotgun, has a deployable shield, and then the gadget. Matt is an information gatherer, not just trying to catch someone out off guard. Also, I like the Goyo as well for Pandy. I think it's a smart pickup. It's going to be tricky, I believe, to play on this site purely because the way they can play it vertically and remove some of the shields, but it also depends if they're using the shields themselves, as they are here, to try and hold that top position, and it's going to help Easter a lot. Gives a little bit of survivability in that position. Now we're seeing the pressures, the doors and the windows start collapsing, and he's actually in the main lobby. So very wide top floor spread for the Sparkle Team. Maybe not hanging out the windows, but certainly trying to contest as many as possible. Diana's going to try and look for something. Clawberry is going to apply pressure as well. But First Blood just ain't going to cut it. No one can quite find their shot.
No, they can't. It's very interesting considering how the previous side went. So already we're seeing a little bit of a more tentative push from 6. Compared to their counterparts on Sparkle Team.
Oh, Shanice from underneath. AJ just not getting away with being able to use the... Oh, the breaching charge. Lawberry, that was an insane shot. Just the tip of the head poking over between the slats in the floor. Wonderfully executed. But now there's a bit of a pile in that. Aruni is just... No, okay, they know. Mia's gonna try and back out that position along along with the Aruni as well from in Heaster. So they've given up top floor control and they've backed on down. But I don't think 6Nation know this. In fact, they're still taking their time, and this plays perfectly into Sparkle Team's hands.
I think it does in a way, but at the same time, like, they have got that top floor control, so they can try and go for some more of those vertical plays. I think especially if they send in Midnight first with that Ayana utility, just to give them a little bit more intel so they know what they are actually dealing with.
Okay. They still haven't pushed. They still, although they got top floor control, they're still not sure that they actually have top floor control. Now the issue here is now with the time running out, they've got to start making some quick decisions. They can go for the execute, levy the vertical angle, but then they could be at risk of a flank from the Aruni or something along those lines. Luna chimes in with the Jaeger in the anchor position in the bar stockroom. He's going to have more info that there is one outside. That's easy pickings. Diana's actually going to run on in. Midnight, last player remaining. It's not looking good for her. Sparkle Team get another round. One more away from being on map points. And 2 away from winning the map. And although I predicted Sparkle Team, I didn't at all have the faintest idea that it would be this one-sided so far.
I mean, we're only, 1 round into this swap over half, so I think there's still a lot 6 can do. I think that they're perfectly capable of pulling it back more. I think realistically, the way I thought this was going to go was actually an overtime map. So yeah, I think realistically, I think hopefully it will go to overtime. Or I think that's going to be a big disappointment for 6, to be honest. I think 6 will be very, very displeased with that if it doesn't go to overtime. And again, they are on an attacker-sided map. Both teams doing standard approaches, but as we say, it's now going to come down to aggression and just making your positioning very, very smart, to be honest. And also playing into the time as well, when to pull back, when to approach, the timing of everything, especially for the side of the defenders. Like, they could have decided to stay upstairs and maybe be picked off a bit more one by one, but they all choose to fall back together. And I think that certainly benefited them in that last round.
Absolutely. The Sparkle Team just seems to be able to, whether for better or for worse, when they react, they seem to react as a team instantly, even if it's the wrong decision or not the best option. All 5 or however are left alive at that point will react on cue as one. 6 do the same, but in that sort of chaos there seems to be a little bit of hesitation here and there. It could just be that they're feeling the pressure, it's not going the way they wanted to, and they've just got to try and get that mental game back in place. It could be for any number of reasons. But more proactivity and just, I want to see them harder committing. Maybe this is the perfect opportunity, just gets pinged out, but that could have been disastrous. Absolutely, HA's actually just going to take things into her own hands. Kills the Aruni, finds the Jaeger out in the open, and this is fantastic by 6Nation. I said I want to see proactivity. This is it. This is a statement being made. 3 players go down for Sparkle Team, and 6Nation have all the time in the world to mount their execute.
Exactly. So I mean, no bits, not over yet. They are on the attack. They can do a very strong and dominant attack, and that is what they have done. All they need to do now is to make sure that it doesn't fall apart at the last minute. They need to start working their way towards the site. They need to get set up nicely. They need to go for the collapse and then deal with the remaining 2 players. Looks like they're going for a garage push here. So again, that's going to be very interesting because I think it's only Luna in wine at the moment. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here.
They had so much time. I would have liked to see them maybe just rotate. Maybe it's just that means if someone reveals their position like there, they can just pile on in and just force them out with numbers. But I would have liked to see maybe setting up separate flanks a little more. They had the time for it. I mean, I could be wrong. It could just work anyway. That C4 going out. Beautifully baited by the Iana. Midnight just definitely dances around that one. And now that flank is going to come in down blue. Toxic Bay is going to go out. Heista has to watch out from behind, so does Luna. The drone coming in should reveal that someone is going to make an appearance behind them. But there is 2 more Toxic Bays to go out, so the timer for those stacked outside of Wine isn't going to really work in their favor. Heista can just keep pulling that off. The breach has been opened, so it gives more options and avenues to get in, but there's more Toxic Bays that can go out. There's the first going down. Heista is the one to fall. The Mute is the last player alive. The grenade as well to close it out. It's a flawless round by 6Nation. Maybe a little too close down the wire, but as soon as they opened that wall, they executed as one, and they showed us really the strength of this side.
I think this is what I mean sometimes about how it's like, it's tricky when, especially on a map like Chalet. This is the thing. If this was Oregon or Clubhouse, it would be different, okay? It would be completely different. But because it's, you know, a map where, you know, it's not as evenly balanced. There's very, very definitive bonus to being like attack or defense here. And again, I think realistically, I do think 6 can pull this back. And unless Sparkle team are about to just absolutely just bring the entire sweat, which potentially they might do, to be honest. They potentially might do. Again, they're choosing to go back downstairs, so they know roughly where this attack may come from. So perhaps they will adjust accordingly, or even with this extended roam, perhaps they'll be holding different angles, different positions, things like that.
I believe that the attack that 6Nation put on, although it did work, the actual execute is very counterable. So I want to see Sparkle team take note of how they approach that, how they might change things. But also I want 6Nation just to, you know, okay, they won like that. It doesn't mean that the same thing is going to work twice. I want to see them change it slightly. Just, you know, while you've got that momentum, switch things around a bit. Approach maybe from a slightly different angle. Keep Sparkle team guessing, so you can allow that momentum just to breeze on through and get you lots and lots of tasty kills. Heista's noticed that the big window is open into the master bedroom. Pandy is on the main stairs. Aubrey might see a bit of an engagement with Mia. First one to fall. There we go. Lisa will take down the roaming Malusi. So that's one roamer down. Heista is still around, alive and kicking, but for how much longer?
It's going to be interesting again, like, you know, a minute on the clock and there's, well, a minute gone, sorry, and they are clearing this quite efficiently. No one's died on the side of 6 yet either, so again, they're gonna probably, actually I was assuming that they'd go for the same kind of direct approach together. Maybe they'd end up all in the same kind of, you know, that one-dimensional push from Wine, but it looks like they're going for a bit more of a split push this time, or are they? It's interesting. I think some of them are still trying to clear a lot of this map just in case someone does go on the flank. And realistically, this maybe would be the time if you're Sparkle team to think, okay, this is what we did last time. Maybe we do get someone on the flank a little bit, just to maybe even, you know, get to dining and be there just in case they do decide to go for that, you know, five stack against the Wine cellar. Because you could cause a lot of upset.
I've got to say, on the flank front, 6Nations droning has been absolutely obnoxious. And I mean that is the best possible compliment. It's the kind of droning that if you did this in ranked, you would get complaints by the enemy. Because, like, every single time Sparkle team tries to go for a flank, oh, they get spotted by a drone. So AJ finds Pandy. It's just, you know, they're playing that information game so well. And Sparkle Team just don't really have an answer for it, whether they're just struggling to find the drones or it's just 6Nation is just getting both the droning and the timing on point and when to follow up. They seem to always have an idea where the defenders are hiding and they can play around that gunfight. Diana's just going to stroll in, but it is the hologram. So Wine Wall's opening up, but 20 seconds left. No smoke this time. Absolute AJ gets another one. He still goes very low. The P10 Roni, despite being a fantastic weapon for his headshot, isn't good at tagging them down. And another Floors round by 6Nation. Oh, lovely frag grenade just about reaching the Iruni. She's on such low health. And now we're into interesting territory. 6Nation, 1 round away from equalizing the scoreline. Sparkle Team just need one more round to get on map points. The momentum is definitely shifted towards 6Nation. I was doubtful, but I'm starting to get on that hype train.
You were
believing the 6Nation comeback.
Faith.
I mean, it's that they've got the momentum until Sparkle Team rectify whatever is going on right now. I'm on the 6Nation train.
This is what I mean, though. It's like that is, you know, both these sides are stacked, and I said it. It's not dangerous for 6 at all to have ended their defense on 4-2 because. You know, even with the drone utilities, this is the thing. Like, again, both these teams, they have players who've played comp for a very long time, Novi. A very long time indeed. And I know for a fact that certain members, especially of 6, will be really on it about how that drone game is and how they want those drones to be. Especially Midnight. Played on a team with Midnight before, especially Midnight. She likes to jog burn properly. It will be interesting as well to see how this setup favors Sparkle Team, to be honest, because obviously it's that same kind of shieldy setup where they're only bringing one shield here. But they have, well, actually, no, not one shield. They've got the Goyo, sorry, I beg your pardon. My brain is not working today. But again, you've got those shields in those kind of default positions where you have that nice little crossfire. That if anyone tries to push from kind of fluke balcony / piano, they're just very quickly dealt with if they haven't got the utility to combat that.
Okay, already AJ contesting that study door. We've seen a win from this position beforehand. Valkyrie's actually all the way on the first floor and I believe has the option to nitrocell underneath. Maybe waiting for the call. Not gonna go for it. Does she not have? She has a nitrocell. She's just ready and waiting. She could blow up the ace, blow up the ash at this point. The defender was looking for it, so underneath. Okay, no, there we go. There's nitrocell blowing, and there we go. AJ taken out, and AJ has been so important to 6Nation in getting these opening kills. Like, absolutely instrumental. She's been doing a spectacular job and just leading the way through. That is a big gunner off the board for 6Nation, but Lisa is trying to compensate and at least trace back.
Yeah, and 1 for 1. Half the time gone. I didn't mean to rhyme there, but I'll take that. The floor has been getting rid of a lot of that utility in the piano area as well. And they can start pushing their way towards library a little bit more ferociously now. They're not quite biting yet though, Novi.
Ooh, the explosion. This is way off the angle. Midnight is gonna have a look in with the hologram. Oh, the frag grenade used. That sound of it just rolling. Just, ugh. There's a little bit like wave of anxiety when I hear that. Like that's almost like almost like scratching sound of the frag grenade just rolling on the floor. That's actually the real one though. Oh. Doesn't quite believe it. Midnight says goodnight to Pandy. Shuts her down on just 1 HP remaining. Mia's gonna try and capitalize as best she can. Sparkle Team, despite Midnight's heroics, are on the advantage. with 10 seconds remaining and barely 101 HP between them. Easter's just got the long angle, and it's easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Sparkle team move on to map point. They struggled on every single site, but they do make Bar and Gaming look easy. They look so comfortable defending that site. It's their secondary site that they seem to be struggling on.
Yes, indeed. And again, it's a it's going to be an interesting one because again, yes, it's match points. That pressure is certainly on now for Six. This is where you're like, okay, we really, really have to win, but they have to win 2 rounds in a row now to get it to overtime. Obviously, aside from that last round, they did have 2 flawless rounds in a row. So I think they are confident in how they want to approach their attack on this map. I think they are completely confident with that. I think Sparkle team, maybe they just don't have a good basement. That could also be it too. Again, it's interesting. We're going to go to bedroom and office. So that's going to be, again, what I would expect a very standard setup from these vendors. They are bringing the Thunderbird Bonovi, which is very interesting. I'm wondering where these little bits of it, you seem quite excited about that. I'm wondering where this bits of utility is going to be set up. Again, maybe they'll have, obviously the mirror is banned, but you know how you have that long angle towards the library corridor. Maybe we'll have a bit of a Thunderbird action there. That could be quite nice positioning for it. At the moment, it seems to be just at the back of piano is one. Where are these other ones? One actually firmly in office, actually. Very close to where the breach and fluke doorway would be. So that's in a very aggressive spot for someone to potentially be holding. I am assuming because the utility there, someone is going to be firmly plonked there. That is quite aggressive, especially when that attack starts coming through, the default kind of attack. That's certainly a statement.
100% is a statement. We like the Thunderbird. I'm a fan of it. When I first saw it announced, I was like, don't think that's going to be too useful. But the more I see it in action, the more I'm like, oh, you could use it like this. You could put it in this position. It'd be great for this site. There's so many options. Speaking of options, Pandy doesn't know where to hold. Holds the wrong angle around the pillar, and absolute AJ gets her, just deserts her revenge on that opening kill once more on that Ash, leading the way for her team. He's not going to go out without a solid fight. That pushes Sparkle team on the defensive. But the problem is, yes, for Six, yes, they managed to take down Pandy. Pandy's also bottom of the leaderboard for Sparkle team. It's the other players who are delivering the pain right now. They're the ones who are really like firing off the punches. And those are the ones who've got to beat in those Angels as they make their way up trophy.
Absolutely. Ooh, a little bit of an aggressive... I don't think Maya's aware of the player. The other side immediately tight off the wall. Yes, she is. Midnight is going to fall. That C4 didn't land, though. Luna's going to take down Straub as well. It's now a 4v3 situation. Maya getting so bolshy around this bathroom doorway, Novi.
Whoa, but AJ, the classic Ash swing like a Ferrari round that corner. No way you can see that one coming. Taking the time to drone in. That was a Nitro Cell from underneath by Shanice, who then just finishes Lisa off through the floor with the MPX. Heaster is going to try and just hold onto the door with a P10 Rodney. Swings around the corner, but they trade 1-for-1. It's probably the worst case scenario for 6Nation. Getting tagged down into a 1 versus 1. Shanice on full HP. Clawberry's actually using the Thunderbird gadget to revive herself even further, sticking the plant down. Shanice is going to get red. Ooh, Clawberry just doesn't quite hold on. Is actually going to go for the engagements, and there we go. Sparkle team have done it. 7-5. Running right down to the wire, right down to a 1 versus 1. The Sparkle team take down 6IXNATIONHQ, one of the strongest teams that we saw last week, and unfortunately handed a loss.
Yeah. And it's again, it's a really interesting matchup that was, because again, of course, last week we had a number of 7-4s. We've now had another 7-4, and again, this is a matchup that we did all expect to go to overtime, and it didn't. Well, I certainly expected to go to overtime, and it didn't. At the same time, I think that last round then, that could have gone so wrong. Again, as we said, the Thunderbird utility was being used almost against Sparkle Team at that point because it was healing up the remaining player of 6, and that could have gone so badly. That was literally just came down to who is going to win this gunfight. And when your winning play comes down to just like a 1v1 like that, chaos, anxiety and chaos. But we love to see it. We really do. And again, I think again both teams played that really well. I would have maybe liked to have seen a bit more aggression, but I think it's just because when it comes to Chalet, I'm used to teams kind of going again very aggressive with spawn peaks and things like that. So we did see aggression from Sparkle teams attack, but it wasn't in, you know, obviously the same way, but it was still very aggressive, and we didn't see that translated to defense in the way that I perhaps wanted it to. But yeah, really good going there by Sparkle team. That's a very strong performance by them.
Yep, and they've shown capability on more than one map now. You know, they've managed to replicate performance onto a different map and take down another strong team. So certainly making a name for themselves of being one of those top teams to look out for, definitely competing towards that top end. 6IXNATION, I have no doubt, will be back to the drawing board. Very hard working, looking at all the VODs and everything of their games, looking over their mistakes and going, well, how can we avoid that next time? Because there's so many opportunities where they looked absolutely amazing. They looked outstanding. But Sparkle team just came out with being more amazing, more consistently, for lack of a better term. They just did it more of the time, and it worked out. The consistency just wasn't quite there for 6.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the fact that they got those really nice 2 flawless rounds on the same side, that is a very strong attack towards that side for them. They cleared that entire map very quickly, very concisely, and they went for the same push every time, and again managed to get flawless. That is a strong site for them to take. I think when it comes to these other sites, again, it was more down to the aggression from Sparkle team that they weren't really expecting as much. Especially, you know, those plays around the bathroom doorway were getting outrageous towards the end before it was ultimately shut down. But yeah, outrageous behavior, to be honest. I think we are going to go to a nifty little interview again. We are going to speak to Shanice from Sparkle team. So welcome, Shanice.
Hello.
Hello, congratulations. I'm just going to start this off by saying that must have been so intense in that last round there. You're in a 1v1 on match point. I bet your heart was coming out of your chest.
Yeah, kind of. I went all the way around. I was like, Luna, don't pick, I'm coming, please. And then, never mind, 1v1.
I think the thing is as well, like, I don't know if you're aware of this yet, but definitely when you see the VOD back, you'll see. But the player that you're in a 1v1 against was on a very small amount of health until they walked past 2 Thunderbirds that healed them up. So it was getting very nerve-wracking for both sides, really, I think.
Yeah, my teammates were like, she took a Thunderbird, watch out. So I was like, yeah, well, I'm full HP.
Were you in that game, because of course, you know, 6IXNATIONHQ are a very good side, were you expecting it to be that close when you took them to Chalet, where you're like, okay, they're a good team, but we're going to walk through them? What were your expectations before the match?
Well, we knew it was going to be really close. We played them on the CCSW. It was always like close match. So, and we know they are good players and we like them so much. So it was like a nice matchup.
Definitely. I mean, yeah, I think a lot of people, myself included, expected this to go to overtime. The fact that it didn't, that must feel really good for you guys right now because, you know, another 7-4. We're seeing a lot of 7-4s this season so far.
Yeah.
And I do think that, again, I guess the best question to ask is the same question we've asked everyone else, you know, this evening. Is there any team that you're really looking forward to play against?
Well, we played Delta last week. So Delta, we played 6 this week. So also, everyone, seriously. I don't have like a... We don't underestimate anyone. We want to play everyone, and that's it.
Amazing. Well,
awesome. Sorry, Grace.
No.
I just had a quick question as well. Is a lot of the teams we're seeing, it's sort of a meme at this point. Is Grace and I, we're seeing Oregon like for 90% of the maps, but you guys have opted for Bank and then Chalet as well. Are we going to see any more spicy map picks maybe in the coming weeks at all? Anything in the
Maybe.
pipeline? Maybe?
Maybe.
Ooh.
I guess you'll have to be patient.
Ooh. I like it. I like it. I want to see Joy, I want to see more coastline. No one's picked coastline yet, really. And I have a little weakness for aggressive attacker-sided maps, so Chalet and Coastline are always my most enjoyable ones to watch. Do you have any closing words for your fans at home before we say goodbye to you?
Well, thank you everyone for the support. Really nice to see the names in the chat cheering for us, and thank you for the cast and the ops, and everyone is so awesome. That's it.
Amazing. Thank you very much. Have a great night.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Amazing work by Sparkle team there. 7-4, another 7-4 Novi. It's going to become flavor of the month, to be honest, at this point.